You know, for what that was really a dull race. Other than Chase versus Chastain and Logano being fucking quick, nothing happened. Joey Logano is the champion for 2022, which has just made this clip redundant. Joey Logano won't win the championship, but he will be the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion. And we can come back to this video if he doesn't. We can come back to this video if he doesn't.
You know what, Elliot? It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on the show with you. Such a good time to be here with you and talk about NASCAR. So the race happened, came and went. Joey Logano had the car to beat. Why am I going to talk about Joey Logano? I don't want to talk about Joey Logano. He was untouchable. He checked out right from go. Anybody that had anything got messed up in the pits. Christopher Bell's team just reverted to how they were at the beginning of the season, working for Bubba Wallace, messing up crucial pit stops when it matters the most. So what happens? Joey Logano takes off and is virtually untouchable. Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott get into it just a little bit, enough to end Chase Elliott's day. A lot of people want to throw Ross Chastain right under the bus. That's one of my personal favorite pastimes of this year. Ross did nothing wrong. He was there. It was at a time where you gotta start going. You gotta start pushing forward. Look to the inside of Chase. Chase said, nah, I could block this. Next thing you know, turn to the side, and Chase Elliott's day is done at no fault of Ross Chastain's. But when it's all said and done, the whole dust settles. What happens? Joey Logano took the entire field to Gapplebee's, and Joey Logano wins his second championship. So good on you, Joey. You did it again.
So to start this race, we had Joey Logano on pole, and we had Chase Elliott in 5th, Christopher Bell in 17th, and Ross Chastain all the way back down in 25th. That's good, because for the first time in years, not all of the championship 4 have started 1, 2, 3, 4, or in the top 10. In stage 1, Logano led from flag to flag, and nothing happened. In stage 2, there were a few spins, a few cautions, but nothing else happened. But then, in stage 3, Lord. Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain came together on an aggressive move, and Chase Elliott spun into the inside wall. Chase went 3 laps down, so it's safe to say, spoiler alert, he didn't win. On the pit cycle, the one of Ross Chastain lost 4 seconds to Christopher Bell and Joey Logano. It was a 2-horse race. And then Joey Logano just pulled away to a healthy lead. He was going to win his second championship. But wait, Alex Bowman made a swift return to the concussion protocol after Michael McDowell completely wiped him out. This is where it gets interesting. Everybody pitted for 4 tyres, and this was it. This was the moment everybody wanted. The championship 3 racing together behind Chase Briscoe and Ryan Blaney. We were set for the restart to decide the season. Everything on the line. The championship right in front of them. Not yet, though. You remember a few videos ago, I said that fires in cars was becoming a strictly Ford problem? I said it last video. But my point stands. Brad Keselowski caught fire on the caution, which prompted us to go a few extra laps, so everything could be cleaned up. When we got going again, Chase Briscoe launched it into the lead with Ryan Blaney right behind him, Joey Logano following the both of them. And this was it. One was looking for the season sweep at Phoenix. One was looking for his first win of 2022. One was looking for the championship. Logano won. And now the season is over, which started out as such a banger, ended so dull. We had 19 winners, which is tied for the most in the modern era, in a single season. It was never as good as 2021. I wish we could go back. But now the season is done. We can go home. The videos can slow down. I can rest.
And now let's start off with a very early what to expect in 2023. So we just had one of the most interesting years in NASCAR with this brand new car. This is something they've had in development for a long period of time, and in some ways, it far exceeded expectations. A lot of the on-track product ended up being superior to what we saw in the past. This car made some tracks far better than it used to be. In other ways, heavily failed. They need to start looking into the tires. They need to start looking into the wheels. They need to heavily look into safety. And I expect these are all heavy changes that are going to be coming into the next year. Nextly, we're going to be celebrating the 75th anniversary of NASCAR. I remember back when it was the 50th anniversary, back in I think it was 98. Had a lot of fun with that when I was a little guy. So, God, time flies. So expect a lot of, hey, remember when? Expect a lot of throwbacks to the good old days of NASCAR, seeing these brand new cars in paint schemes of yesteryear a lot more often than just Darlington. North Wilkesboro's coming back. That's going to be one of the biggest attractions. Everybody said, look, Texas has got to go for the All-Star race. Give us something that matters. North Wilkesboro's coming back. And on top of that, for the Truck Series, the Milwaukee Mile's coming in. They're bringing everything back. Keep your eyes on Rockingham. This track might be coming back in a big way too. They are doing a lot of work to the rock, and all the tracks that got pushed aside for the newer ones saying, this is the future, they're coming back in a big way. NASCAR looks like they really want to just put all their chips on the nostalgia side while also still trying to bank a little bit on the, let's also bet on the future. So yeah, I expect to have a very fun year. I think there will only be a few low moments. Texas is going to be Texas. Phoenix is still an unimpressive product on the track, but I think by and large, we're going to be looking at a very fun year for this coming sport. And now on to some of the biggest news coming out of this week. We're going to be talking about Jimmie Johnson taking over a leadership position for Petty GMS. I adore Jimmie Johnson. I've always loved this guy ever since he got his start back in the 48 car, all the way back in 2002. I had a good feeling about him, the way he just drove that thing. It looked impressive. I expected great things. Even as a kid, I had no way of knowing he would be a 7-time champion. But here we are now, twilight of his career. Fantastic repertoire for the NASCAR series. Little stint in IndyCar. Now he says, now let's take a leadership position. And now he's going to be sitting there, arms crossed, looking across the table at Jeff Gordon and Hendrick and says, you know what? I want what you got. Let's do this. He's going to be taking over one of the 3 cars in a part-time role. What number is he going to run? I think they're going to get the 44 car. Don't hold me to that. There's no evidence on that. It's a gut feeling. They're going to get that from Greg Biffle. Have Noah Gragson in the 42. The 43, Eric Jones, spearheading their whole operation. And Jimmie Johnson, the man himself, coming in a big way. We're talking about 7-time Jimmie Johnson.
They call him Jimmy the Juggernaut Johnson.
I could not be more excited to see this man come in and just, I always love the Petty organization. I love their history. I think they're about to do fantastic things going forward with Eric Jones leading them to the promised land. I think they're going to make a deep playoff run next year. And with Jimmie Johnson saying, yeah, I got the know-how, I got the brains, the wits, the brawn, I think Johnson's going to run the doubleheader. I think he's going to go to the Indy 500, do a one-off there, and pray he can win. And then take a helicopter or a plane all the way over to the Coke 600. I expect big things from Jimmie Johnson in 2023.
So we can't actually make picks for the next race because, well, so what we're doing is we're making way too early predictions for the Clash, for the 500 and for the title, which is all for fun. Now, I won again with Chastain, so I'm going to go first. For the clash, I have the one and only Bubba Wallace. For the 500, I've gone for a Ford. I'm going to pick Harrison Burton. And for the season title, the driver who has just left his not-so-long-term organisation, I've picked Tyler Reddick. So, Dan, I'm going to leave it up to you now. We need your picks. And I promise that next year, I will keep count. We'll keep score.
And now it's time for our way too early picks going into the 2023 season. Who do we think is going to win the Clash? Who do we think is going to win the Daytona 500? And above all, right now, who are we picking to be champions? So let's start with the Clash. Fantastic race at the Coliseum. Started off the season in one of the most fun and spectacular ways imaginable. Now I got to look back at this past year and who had some of the most growth, who's looking good on short tracks. And I got to put my money on Ross the Boss Chastain. I may not like this guy as much as some other people, but I can't deny what he's done, man. Number 2, the Daytona 500, the biggest event in NASCAR. I'm going to bet everything on my boy Chris Buescher. I said it before when I picked him for one of the super speedway races previously. This man at a super speedway is dangerous. He's a danger to himself. He's a danger to the drivers around him in the best way. He is beyond aggressive and throws some of the meanest blocks you can ever see. And now on to number 3, our way too early pick for the champion. I'm going with the number 99 of Daniel Suarez. I have never seen the entire NASCAR community swing so hard in one way for a driver more so than I have Daniel Suarez. Everybody loves this kid. His attitude, his personality, especially the way he drives. He's clean but aggressive. He's extremely polite but assertive. He almost has a Mexican Mark Martin thing going on. I adore that. I love his attitude, I love his personality, and the way Trackhouse racing has been, I can't see anything but continuous growth. These are my picks. I'm not going to say I'm sticking to them, but my heart's telling me one thing, and I got to go with that.
So that is the end of the video and the season. So we'll do some stuff in the off season. We're not gone for good. We're not hibernating, but it will slow down. So now Dan would like to say goodbye.
Like, follow, subscribe, Twitter, @CupDatesDan. Want to engage. Bye-bye.
Now the Outcast Dirt Nationals haven't stopped. They're still going. So make sure you tune in on Friday nights at 9 PM Eastern, where they continue their season. For the next 4 weeks, you get to see street stocks on all different tracks across the USA in a video game. What is not to love? As for now, thank you and goodbye.